wasn't really in the mood to pick up a book and start reading. I would have rather have done something else in my spare time. And I was just busy doing other stuff, so I couldn't really be bothered reading. But so these are books that I have read maybe since August, so August, September, and then kind of coming into October. But yeah, I finished these kind of like, well, I finished the last one beginning of October. So yeah, that's why it's books I've read recently. I'm not someone who can read like, 6 to 9 books a month. I just don't have time for that. So yeah. So I have 2 physical copies, and then I read 1 book on my Kindle. And actually, I won't say it now, I'll just wait until I talk about each book. I'm going to try and not talk about the books too much to give the storyline away, because I personally don't like that. I guess I'll just read the back, maybe. Yeah, I'll see. But yeah, I'm not going to talk too much about the plot of the book, because I don't think I can do it very well without giving spoilers. So yeah. Anyway, I hope that you find this video nice and relaxing. So get comfy, relax, and enjoy this video. Okay, let's start with the first book. The first book that I picked up in August. Gosh, it feels like such a long time ago. This is the first book I want to talk about. So this is Arthur's Voice by Mia Sheridan. And this is a love story, and I think I gave this book a 4 point, I think it was a 4.5 or 4.75, now I can't really remember, but I really enjoyed this book. Now, I will say that I think this book was hyped up a lot, and although I did really enjoy it, and I'm really glad that I've read it, because it was such a nice, wholesome book, it's still not like a 5-star for me personally, and I was expecting so much passion and so much hurt, but it's in Archer's silence that we might just find what we need to heal and to live. Okay, so yeah, a gorgeous tale of survival and healing, healing power of love. Yeah. Yeah, it was a really good book. I did enjoy it. I don't like this book, the structure of this book though. But I think this is from the US. It's a floppy book, and I personally don't like that. Not that it should matter that much. But yeah, it was a good book. So yeah, this was the first one, so we started off great in August with a 4.75. 4.75. Okay, and then the other book that I read was, or the second book I should say, was called The 7-Year Slip. The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Boston. Now, I read that on my Kindle. I haven't got my Kindle with me right now. I don't really like the tapping sounds on that because of the case. So I'll just continue tapping on this book. But yeah, so the 7-Year Slip I got on my Kindle because it was cheaper than buying the physical book. And I read that pretty quickly. So the reason why I definitely knew this wasn't a 5-star read for me was because the 7-Year Slip was definitely a 5-star read for me. I thoroughly enjoyed that book so much. Like, I was, every time, every day I'd be like, right, I just want to pick the book back up. Like, I don't want to do anything else. I want to read that book because I just felt so nice and cozy and happy when I was reading it. And I love when I feel like that when I'm reading a book, because I feel like, yep, like this is how I want to feel when I truly love a story and I want to immerse myself into the book. I don't think that happens a lot with me. But I also think it's because I haven't been a huge reader my whole life, I haven't, so I think that's also got to do with it. But when I find a book that I'm so excited to pick up and read, that's such a good feeling. And yeah, I absolutely loved the book. I think even when I didn't have a chance to pick up my Kindle and read the book, I would actually listen to it. I would listen to the chapters so that I could still keep up with reading while I'm still doing something else, because I can't read the physical. So that should tell you that I really liked the book and I wanted to just continue reading it so I could get through it. But yeah, absolutely loved it. So again, it's a romance novel, and I'm sure you guys have already heard of it, but it's about this it's magical realism, which is a term that I only really heard when I looked this book up. But yeah, it's almost like it's almost kind of like a fantasy, but maybe not the type of fantasy genre that you're thinking of when I say that. So yeah, magical realism, love story, and it is basically how she lives. The main character, I forgot her name, what's her name? Clementine. Yeah, she lives in her dead aunt's apartment, and it's magical, and she ends up meeting a guy from the past in that apartment. I don't think that's giving it away. I think that's the plot, So I wanted to read something a little bit different because I had already done 2 romance books. So I thought, let me go to my bookshelf and see what I could read that is a bit different. And then I chose this one. Also because it's a very, very popular book. And I just wanted to kind of know what all the hype was about. And for this one, people said I also really